Let's dive right into this explainer and uncover the epic microscopic war that is being waged inside your mouth every single day. I want you to picture a beautiful, sparkling white tooth, standing just like a shining castle inside a magical kingdom. Tiny, friendly mineral crystals protect its walls, and everything looks healthy, bright, and completely peaceful. But right now, at this exact moment, that perfect kingdom is under threat. To really wrap your head around the sheer scale of this invisible conflict, consider this. The World Health Organization estimates a staggering 2 billion people currently have active caries, yeah, that's tooth decay, in their permanent teeth. Add in another 510 million kids with decay in their primary teeth, and you realize we're talking about the most widespread non-communicable disease on the entire planet. So, let's define this conflict. Think of your tooth as a literal fortress under siege. Your tooth's enamel is constantly caught in this intense biological tug-of-war. On one side, we have demineralization. This is the relentless attack. Imagine a giant wave of colorful candies and sodas crashing into the kingdom, and hiding among them are mischievous bacteria in dark armor. They feast on sugar and produce this highly destructive lactic acid that literally strips calcium and phosphate ions right out of your enamel. But on the other side, we have remineralization. This is your body's heroic effort to rebuild. Heroic fluoride molecules in saliva droplets arrive like magical healers, weaving those lost minerals back into the microscopic walls to fortify your fortress. Now, you might be wondering, who exactly are these invaders? Well, the enemy forces are primarily composed of specific cariogenic bacteria, like Streptococcus mutans and Lactobacillus. They hide out inside the sticky plaque biofilm on your teeth. And when you consume dietary sugars and fermentable carbohydrates, you're essentially handing them heavy artillery. Plus, if you have reduced salivary flow, basically a dry mouth, it's like disabling your own defense systems, allowing that acidic attack to linger for so much longer. Moving on, let's talk about how we actually assess this threat level. Your dentist is essentially your military strategist, using specific matrices to figure out just how vulnerable your fortress really is. For young kids under 5, things like frequent sugary snacks between meals, visible plaque on the teeth, or even a mother with active cavities will plunge a child straight into the high-risk danger zone. It's a very clear map showing exactly how quickly the invaders can gain the upper hand if those protective factors aren't in place. But what's really fascinating is that as we look at older children and adults, the clinical factors actually shift. Suddenly, things like low salivary flow, the use of oral appliances, or defective previous restorations become the critical indicators of an impending attack. It just goes to show that as we age, the battlefield terrain changes completely, and our strategies have to adapt right along with it. Now, if those protective factors fail, things escalate. We enter the 5 stages of decay. The enemy forces will launch a progressive 5-stage assault to destroy the tooth from the outside in, and it's incredibly systematic. Step 1, invisible mineral losses create these bright, chalky white spot lesions on the outer wall. If the healers don't arrive, we hit step 2. The wall cracks and a dark cavity forms. By step 3, the attack dives beneath the enamel into the softer underground dentin layer where acid monsters start tunneling through. Step 4 brings the battle to the vibrant city of nerves at the tooth's core, causing massive inflammation. And finally, step 5, a catastrophic volcano-like abscess forms at the root, spreading severe infection and pain. The crucial takeaway here is how your body signals this invasion. A cavity often causes a continuous, dull ache, or a pain that just comes out of nowhere without an obvious trigger. But sensitivity? That is a sudden, short, sharp shock. It's your tooth's internal alarm system screaming that the protective enamel armor has worn away, and hot or cold stimuli are traveling straight down those dentin tunnels right into the nerve city. Okay, so the fortress is breached. Now it's time to deploy the reinforcements. The incredible news is that modern dentistry doesn't just sit back and wait for the fortress to fall into absolute ruin. We have a whole futuristic arsenal ready to go. For moderate and high-risk patients, dentists don't just jump straight to the surgical drill anymore. Instead, they act as guardians, using active surveillance, dietary counseling, sealants, and aggressive fluoride therapies to physically halt the invasion and actually allow the tooth to heal itself. One of the absolute strongest chemical weapons we have on those front lines is silver diamine fluoride, or SDF. It's a topical liquid that acts like an elite strike team. It can literally freeze a cavity right in its tracks, arresting the decay without any drilling whatsoever. The silver kills the bacteria and the fluoride rebuilds the wall. The only catch? it does leave a permanent dark stain right on the battlefield where the decay occurred. And beyond just brushing, science has given us an incredible array of biofilm modifiers to really help out our saliva. Fluoride is our heavy armor, upgrading the tooth surface to highly acid-resistant fluoroapatite crystals. Casein is a milk-derived protein that delivers liquid calcium directly to the walls. Xylitol is this brilliant decoy sugar that literally starves the bacteria. And arginine neutralizes the acid, raising the pH levels. This is exactly how we give our natural healers the heavy backup they desperately need.
Which brings us to the triumphant climax of our story, the future of tooth repair.
What if we didn't just have to patch up the damage? What if we could magically regrow the shattered walls of the fortress completely from scratch? Well, imagine a futuristic laboratory where researchers at the University of Nottingham have actually developed a miraculous protein-based gel that perfectly mimics how our bodies originally formed teeth when we were babies. No fluoride required.
The mechanism making this possible is a stunning process called epithelial mineralization. I know, it's a mouthful, but here's what it means. When this gel is applied, it doesn't just sit on top of the tooth. It seeps deep into the microscopic cracks and acts as an architectural scaffold. It actually grabs the calcium and phosphate floating in your own saliva and guides them to weave a brand new, highly organized, self-healing crystal armor. It is literally regrowing your tooth enamel. As Dr. Abshar Hassan, the lead author of the study, so beautifully points out, this is not a synthetic patch, it's not a standard filling. Because it recovers the exact architecture of natural enamel, this regenerated tissue is fully integrated. In simulated tests, it stood perfectly strong against brutal brushing, heavy chewing, and even subsequent acid attacks. The fortress is fully restored.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want you to visualize that perfect kingdom in your mouth one last time. The daily battle between the acid army of decay and the magical healers of repair is happening inside you right at this very second. The real secret to winning isn't waiting for the fortress to collapse, it's preventing the invasion before it even begins. So, what reinforcements are you going to send to the front lines today?